Hi, Mrs. Smit's class. We are doing something we haven't done yet in quarantine, and that is have a writing lesson by me on a video. So I'm going to walk you through what to do, and you can do this on your own laptop or your own computer. And if you need to pause this video and then work a little, and then play more video and work a little more, you may do that. I don't really expect you to watch the whole thing in one sitting, remember everything, and then go do it. So as you can see, you're probably distracted by all of my tabs that I have open here. But you will be sent this Faith Writing 5th grade 2020 document. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to make a copy for each of you. And this shows you how to set up your paper. I'm noticing here that Mrs. Voss must have jumped on and used this, so I'm going to change this back to Mrs. Smith's name. So here we have my example, Faith Writing, and then you are going to open a blank doc, and you are going to give it the title Faith Writing 2020. You have done one of these every single year, and we don't want to miss this year. We want these to be a record of the work that God's doing in your heart and the way that your faith is growing. And there's no right or wrong answer. These are not graded so that I say Joe's faith is better than Susie's faith. That's not at all the purpose, and that's not what God does with our faith. But this is meant to be an encouragement, because when you graduate from high school, they're going to hand you a folder of all of your faith writing. And what a neat thing it will be to go back and see how God has been growing your faith very purposefully through your entire school career. So here I have my faith writing set up. I'm going to go back to the example, and you are simply going to copy what I have here. You're going to hit Command C, or you could go Edit, Copy, and then you will click on your paper and you will do Command V, or you can do Edit, Paste, and it will stick it right here. You can change the date. I wasn't sure what day we would be doing this. You can change it to May 21, as long as it's May sometime in the year 2020. And then it's your name, right, and not my name. Put your cursor behind it, hit 2 times, and you'll see it's still justified to the right. So you are going to want to move it over here, bing, and I'm going to hit Tab 1 time so it's indented. Let's go through how to start our introduction paragraph. On my example, in blue, I have a whole bunch of ways that you could start your introductory paragraph. You're not required to choose one of these ways. Some of you love writing, and the ways to start come right off the top of your head. Go for it. But for those of you who might feel like this is a struggle, I would like you to look through these and pick one of these that you think would work for you. For example, I am going to, which one do I want to do? Let's do, okay, I'm going to do the first one. So I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to do Command C for copy, and I'm going to do Command V for paste, and I don't want it in blue necessarily, so I'm going to change the color to black. Okay, I'm going to take off the dots. Our theme for 2019-2020 has been living testimony. To be a living testimony means, and then I would describe what I think that it means, right? We've talked about this. Being a living testimony means that your life shows other people about your faith in God, right? We want to live out our faith. So however you write that in your own words, if this is your starter, is perfectly fine. I'm not going to go into much depth, because if it was me, I would have a hard time not just copying the example, right? And I want it to be your own work. So to be a living testimony means that people live out their faith, period. It means that instead of your faith just being in your head, comma, you look for ways to demonstrate your faith in the life that you lead by what you do, by what you say, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you get the idea. I'm ready for my next paragraph. I hit return and I hit tab, and I'm going to go back to the example, and I'm finished my introduction. Now I'm going to go down to my paragraph 2, which is a pink paragraph. I noticed people being a living testimony in many ways this year. You may rephrase the way that this sentence is, absolutely, but this whole paragraph is going to be about noticing other people being a living testimony. Who did you see being a living testimony? Where and when? And so you are going to copy this, Command C, you are going to Command V, paste it in here. I'm going to change it all to black, and then I am going to add on to this. Notice under this first sentence, I have lots of other ways here that you could start sentences within this paragraph. You could do like a list of things that you saw. First, I noticed this. I also noticed that. Earlier in the year, I noticed Joe doing this. It felt really good when Susie, blah, blah, blah. At church, I noticed my pastor, blah, blah, blah. At school, blah, blah, blah. At home, my mom, blah, blah, blah. In my neighborhood, these are all ways. This isn't just how you notice somebody being a living testimony at school in the school day. But think about your life in the past couple months. Your life at home, your life in school, your life in GEMS or cadets or on your basketball team, your coaches. When did you see people, they could be your age or older or whoever, being a living testimony, living out their faith in their actions? So this paragraph, I'm going to give examples. Earlier in the year, comma, I saw Bob stop what he was doing and offer help to someone who wasn't even really one of his closest friends, period. He didn't seem to think twice about helping. He joyfully helped Pete pick up all the markers that fell on the ground. He was definitely being a living testimony. I also noticed how Matilda, blah, blah, blah. She noticed that Betty Lou was never getting picked for blah, 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 blah. You get the idea, right? My basketball coach lived out his faith when he blah, 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 period. Next paragraph, you guessed it, we're going to scroll down and we are going to go on to paragraph 3. This is my first sentence. I'm Command C copying it, and I'm Command V after I do my tab. I'm Command V pasting it in, making it black, and I'm going to go back and see what kind of sentences will be included in this paragraph. This is all about me as a person. So when you're writing it, you write it about yourself. Think back. This is not bragging. This is you reminding yourself, your future self, the things that you did to try to live out your faith. Do you have examples? One time, another time, at school when this happened. Once when I was at GEMS on my football team, when I hurt my arm, I'm not very good at sports, so when did you try to be a living testimony for others? So you can use some of my examples, or you can think of your own times. When I would get frustrated at school, comma, I tried to not lose my cool. I often looked for ways that I could help other people as well. I'm pretty good at soccer. So when Peter was looking like he was sad because he didn't get picked for soccer, I tried to reach out to him and make sure he felt included. Okay, these are some examples that you did during the year. Final paragraph, concluding paragraph, your fourth paragraph. Seeing, this is an example starter, okay? You don't have to use this. I'm going to though, so don't feel bad about doing it. Command C. I'm going to tab and Command V. I'm going to make that into black. And before I start typing, I am going to go back and look at some of these other helpful phrases. Let's see, seeing and experiencing people being living testimony has, well, which of these kind of echo with me? Helped me know God more because, or helped me to grow in my faith, helped me to understand how God wants us to live, made me realize, makes me want to, shows me that. So I'm going to say, seeing and experiencing people being a living testimony has helped my faith grow, period. When I see other people living out their faith, comma, it makes it more real and more of a normal thing to do. It also encourages me because I know how good it feels to see people living out their faith, and I want to be that kind of person, period. Let's pretend I did all of that really well and not in gibberish. It says I'm finished. Now what? Ooh, yeah, this is like school. You actually have to go back and whisper read it out loud to yourself. Does it actually flow, or did you miss some words? Do you have capitals and end marks? Because this is, after all, the end of 5th grade. Maybe there's places you can add in some I statements, like I feel like, I think, I used to think, but now I think. All of these. Did you push yourself so that you have at least 2 examples for your pink second paragraph and 2 examples for your purple paragraph? Did you indent? And then you may choose a print font. Make sure it's printed, please. That's not all capitals or bubble letters. And your size may be between 12 and 14. I'm actually going to say 18. And you may also make sure your spacing is double space. And I'll show you how to do double space, and then you share it. Double space is over here. See line spacing? So before I click on that, I want to do Command A so it's all highlighted. I'm going to click on spacing and tell double. Look at that. Isn't that impressive? Okay. And if I'm happy with it, then if I want a different font, I do Command A to select it all. I go up here and I avoid anything that is all script like this. Can you imagine having to read that? Even if it's a little larger, it's just too hard to read. So you're going to pick something easy to read in print that has capitals and lowercase, like that, for example. And when you are happy with it, because it reflects your faith, you will share it with me. Do not feel like Mrs. Smit is going to judge your faith or grade your faith. All I'm going to look at is I want to see that you have pushed yourself to express your faith. So spend some time. This is not going to be a 10-minute writing. You will have to push your thinking to be creative, to be expressive. Use all of my example sentence starters if you are really stuck, because I really don't want you to be frustrated. This is a writing that is meant for you. You are writing to yourself in the future, really, okay? This is not me grading your faith compared to somebody else's faith. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I know I whizzed through this. I hope you paused it or rewind it and re-listen to it if you're stuck. And feel free to email me if you have any questions.